Welcome to KXAN News Today. In Austin, the Waterloo Greenways Creek Show celebrating its 10th anniversary. There's a variety of special events and performances all throughout the weekend. It's also partnering with Downright Austin to present the Creek Show Lounge at Swim Club. That's going to be at the end of Waller Creek Trail.
And an historic Austin landmark celebrating its 60th anniversary this weekend. The Broken Spoke Honky Tonk will have live music with Alvin Crow. With the official anniversary this Sunday, there's a lot of events slated for the coming week as well.
And later this morning, Travis Early College High School is breaking ground on its new campus. Comes after a 2022 bond program that's investing more than $252 million into modernization. That campus is going to have improved traffic flow, modernized athletic spaces and community spaces. It'll remain in Southeast Austin and open in the fall of 2028. For November, a warm start to your morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller.
And I'm Erica Brennis, in for Sally Hernandez. We have Tommy House in for Kristen Curry on this Friday. Wish it was a little bit cooler.
A little bit cooler,
but
thankfully.
Allegedly it's coming.
Yeah, you know, it's perfect for the weekend, right? We have all the bad weather during the week, and then we turn the page into Saturday. We have some good news there, maybe some strong storms, but we'll get to that in just a second. Here's our West Shore Home Central Austin camera. Good morning. Happy Friday. Time check 4:31, and a few low-level clouds are on the horizon this morning. You can feel a little bit of humidity and warmth to the air. Our current temperatures, 73 in Austin, 72 Georgetown, 73 Bastrop. Our normal low this time of year is in the low to mid-50s. We're about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than where we should be. Quick check on pollen. Mold is high, grass is medium, fall elm now medium, all trending down. Ragweed is low at this hour. So here's the big weather maker. We're going to have a cold front get itself together in the western part of the state. Until then, few showers can come in out of the south later on this morning. So we have two different kinds of weather makers throughout the day today. Rain chances increasing by 6 to 8 p.m. You're going to be dropping off the kids to school. May have a few light showers out and about, and then when you're picking them up, we'll be seeing our temperatures continue to climb back up into the 70s and the low 80s. Here's what I'm tracking. Evening rain, some severe potential for our western counties, and a cooler Saturday. That's all coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thank you so much, Tommy. Racist text messages popping up across the country. They're now making their way here to Central Texas. It's a warning for parents about what might be on your child's phone.
And we want to warn you that these messages are disturbing. KXAN's Barrett Tryon tells us what's being said and what's now being done to stop them from happening.
When she sent that text message to me, I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, why would somebody, I couldn't understand why somebody would send that.
Sharon Herring still in disbelief over this, a disturbing text sent to her 13-year-old granddaughter. You've been selected to become a slave at your nearest plantation, it reads. Please be ready by 12 a.m. with all your necessary belongings. You'll be picked up in a white van with a Trump representative in your area. It goes on to say, you are in slave group B.
I felt like we were targeted because we were Democrats. Because how would they know that?
It appears she is not alone.
Anybody happened to get any weird messages or strange messages? And a student said, yeah, I got one that said something about you're going to get deported.
Teacher Sean Hinton with Austin ISD says he shared this message with his students' permission. It says they'll be picked up in a brown van and are in deportation group A3.
It was pretty terrifying for my granddaughter. She's still feeling kind of scared and worried about it.
The FBI says they are aware of the texts. In a statement posted on social media, the agency said it's aware of the texts being sent around the country and is in contact with the Justice Department and other agencies on the matter.
Parents to be more aware of our children's phones and social media apps that they're on, just to monitor your children closely, because you never know if this type of thing could happen again.
One message most of us can agree on. In Austin, Barrett Tryon, KXAN News.
The FBI also wanted to remind you that if you are physically threatened, to report it to your local law enforcement right away.
So disturbing. Adding some depth here, last year more than half of the single bias hate crimes reported were motivated by race or ethnicity. This according to the U.S. Department of Justice. It was followed by religion and sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, and then gender at less than 1%.
Homophobic and misogynistic messaging fueled a demonstration on the Texas State University campus on Wednesday. Images sent to KXAN's Report It show signs calling women property and saying homosexuality is a sin. among other things. University President Kelly Damphouse said he is saddened by the incident as it, quote, runs so contrary to the values that we hold at Texas State, in particular that we respect and value others and that we believe that all Bobcats here belong. Damphouse said university police monitored the men, but no arrests were made. He also addressed how those men were able to stay on campus, citing free speech laws protecting public outdoor spaces on campus. We are learning that a man accused of killing 6 people during a shooting spree is determined to be mentally incompetent.
Yeah, Shane James is accused of committing a string of violent incidents across Austin and San Antonio, including his parents' murders in December. Criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Alan Bennett says an incompetency determination does not mean anyone is walking away from this case. Instead, he says the court's going to continue to check in periodically until competency is regained.
Competency to stand trial is required under our law, in that our law wants an accused person to be able to communicate effectively and to work effectively with his or her attorney.
Well, James is not on trial. He's going to stay in the Travis County Jail. He's waiting for a bed to open up at a mental health facility, and that could take months to more than a year. Good morning. Austin police are planning to update later this morning about a deadly shooting that involves some officers. Happened in Northwest Austin at an apartment complex yesterday. The police chief, Lisa Davis, says a man carjacked 2 vehicles from the 4 Point Shopping Plaza about 5 minutes away from the MAA Canyon Creek Apartments.
Officers then tracked the suspect to the apartment, saying he kicked down the door of one of the units. That's when police tried to stop him, but he shot at officers, and those officers fired back, killing him.
This is a tragic situation for all involved here, but again, this was a situation that none of us like to see and law enforcement see occur.
Those who live in the complex say that it's usually pretty quiet there.
Also this morning, police investigating the city's 57th homicide in Austin. This happened around 6 last night. Police responding to the East US 290 service road in East Austin, just past I-35. And when they got there, officers found a victim with obvious signs of trauma. They tried to save that person's life, but the victim died at the hospital about a half hour later. Police have not yet found the person responsible, but detectives are saying they believe it's an isolated incident with no threat to the public.
They are not releasing details on the suspect or victim out of respect for the families, according to police. They are urging anyone with information, though, to please contact them. Good morning. It is almost 4:45 on this Friday, and you're looking live at Highway 71 and Backdrop from our Ally Medical camera. Looks like 71's very quiet. No surprise there. A really nice quiet start on the roads and hopefully in your house as well.
Yeah.
The Austin City Council spoke zoning and liquor licenses, among other agenda items, at its regularly scheduled meeting yesterday.
Yeah, and as KXAN's Grace Reader explains, there's going to be some new leaders voting on things that will impact you if you live in Austin, like your roads, your parks, and your public safety.
Thursday's Austin City Council meeting marked one of the last times this dais will see this group of people, after Austinites voted on several new city council members Tuesday. But first, here's what's not going to change. Council members Natasha Harper-Madison, Jose Velasquez, Ryan Alter, Paige Ellis, and Zoe Caudry were not up for re-election. City council elections are staggered, so the entire council doesn't turn over at one time. Meanwhile, council members Vanessa Fuentes and Chito Vela held on to their seats. They'll be back for another 4 years. But here's where the changes start.
My primary motivation in running is to bring more effective city services to District 6.
That's Krista Lane. She unseated the only Republican-leading member of the city council, Mackenzie Kelly, and is projected to take the District 6 seat.
Whether that means the lights staying on, maybe some repairs to the water mains, that sort of thing. 911 response times have been a consistent issue.
In District 7, Mayor Pro Tem Leslie Poole has done 2 terms and is done. The race to fill her seat is projected to end up in a runoff. State rules limit the runoff to 2 candidates, so District 7's final candidates are Mike Siegel and Gary Bledsoe. If you live in D7, you'll have to go back to the polls to vote on this race again in December. And finally, District 10. Same deal here with Councilmember Allison Alter, who's leaving the seat after 2 terms. That one will be filled by Mark Duchin, who's projected to have ousted his opponent Tuesday night.
More public safety, that's been the #1 issue in this campaign. It's going to involve listening to neighborhoods and homeowners and businesses for land use issues.
Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
Ahead this morning on Today, we take a look at this year's Rockefeller Center Christmas tree and where it comes from.
When the family planted the tree in 1967, it was about waist high. Now, here we are 57 years later, and you can see this Norway spruce is 74 feet tall.
It's a beaut, Clark. Joe Fryer visits West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, speaking with the family that donated their tree. It's all coming up on Today.
You have to be extremely generous to just be like, yeah, cut down this gorgeous tree that I have in my front yard.
Every year when we do this story,
I am
fascinated.
Yes.
Like if I had that tree in my yard, I'd be like, it is mine.
Yeah.
Forever. I'm not giving it away, chopping it down, but you know,
for it's not like they're offering
it's
you
not like they pay them.
$50,000 for your tree.
No,
it's a donation.
I put a little GoFundMe QR code. I'd carve it in the tree, so when you're walking by, you can be like, "Oh, that's where it came from."
It always fascinates me.
Well, it's going to be a good weekend to set up the Christmas lights. I already set mine up because
Tommy's an early decorator.
November 1st. Yeah, so
it's out of the way.
We'll talk about your weekend forecast. Maybe some yard work you need to do. It's going to be sunny and dry, which is great news. We have a day of rain to get through. First, here's the Domain Indeed camera showing a little bit of buildings on the horizon, low-level clouds. It's a mild start to your Friday. Time check is 4:48, 73 at Camp Mabry. Winds are pretty much light and variable. Humidity at 87% with some dew points feeling a little bit muggy out and about. 73 Austin, 73 Bastrop, 69 Burnet, 67 Fredericksburg this morning. Our normal low this time of year is 53, so we're most likely going to break a record warm low. Big picture across the country, high pressure well to our east. Here's this low that's causing a lot of mountain snow for portions of New Mexico, Colorado, even some snow up in the panhandle of Texas. That will cause some rain for us in Rafael, a Category 3 storm in the Gulf. No impacts to the United States whatsoever. So I'm going to focus on the Texas impacts for my forecast now. A few flash flood warnings to the west of Dallas, San Angelo, some lightning building in. That's our cold front beginning to get going, and that will cause some thunderstorms this evening in the Austin area. Here's our local Doppler radar, quick little cell in northwestern parts of Travis County. But besides that, we are dry in central Texas this morning. Your day planner, 30% chance of rain at 8 a.m., 40% at noon, 60% by the afternoon hours. Temperatures returning to the low 80s today. Tonight back down on the warm side. We'll stay around 60 degrees, 50% chance of showers, but a cold front will move through. Could even bring some severe weather potentials. Tornado, very isolated. Hail, very low. I'm not expecting any really severe weather too much. I mean, there could be little bits and pieces here and there, but the big picture is we're on the low side, a level 1 out of 5 by the Storm Prediction Center. Let me walk you through the timing for this. A few showers will build in through the morning into the afternoon hours. By 2 p.m., there's the front approaching the hill country, Mason, Llano, San Saba, toward Gillespie County. Then some showers will build in by the afternoon hours. Notice the front kind of weakens a little bit in terms of precip. We'll still get some dry and cold air behind it, but it's not going to be too much of a rainmaker compared to Monday night into Tuesday earlier this week. This will be a little bit less intense. This should clear through by right around 10, 11 o'clock. When it's all said and done, looking at rainfall totals, maybe up to 1/10 of an inch in Travis County. A few pockets could get a little bit more, of course, and some flooding is possible, but it's not going to be a complete washout by any sort of means. Your weekend forecast, though, things are looking pretty good on Saturday, 75 degrees, a bit warmer by Sunday with temperatures in the low 80s. And for Texas football, Florida comes to town, 11 o'clock kickoff, and we'll be seeing our temperatures climb back up at 73 right around halftime with winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll keep that cool-off trend on Saturday, then we're back up into the 80s again come Sunday and Monday with our normal high this time of year at 74 degrees. So we'll definitely be on the warm side for pretty much most of the next 7 days. Your first one weather 7-day forecast, 83 today, 75 tomorrow, 80 on Sunday, 81 on Monday. Veterans Day looking a little warm, but mostly sunny, which is great for those outdoor plans. And all into next week, things are looking on the dry side.
Thanks, Tommy. Republicans made major progress in South Texas this year, winning most of the border region for the first time in decades.
Stark County, for one, flipped red for the first time in 128 years. And Donald Trump winning 14 of the 18 counties along the border. This is a shift Senator Ted Cruz is calling a generational change. Comes after years of investment from Republican groups trying to gain ground in this historically Democratic stronghold. So is this an anomaly, or is this a trend that's going to stick?
You know, it's going to take a couple more cycles to make a reasoned judgment about what the long-term consequences are here, to see what the trend looks like. But that said, I mean, it's completely understandable and, you know, justifiable for Republicans to say that they broke through, you know, in these border counties.
And in one of the most expensive races in the state, Adam Hunahisa flipped a longtime Democratic district in the Rio Grande Valley, giving Republicans another seat in the Texas Senate.
They raised concerns over a new state law eliminating paper license plates, often tied to widespread fraud and crime.
Now a group representing 1,400 car dealerships came face to face with members of law enforcement who backed that bill, and only KXAN investigator Matt Grant was there.
Ms. Phillips, any comments on how the meeting went?
No, thank you.
What did y'all talk about?
I'm not going to talk to you.
The executive vice president of the Texas Automobile Dealers Association had few words following a closed-door meeting at the Capitol. The meeting set by the House Transportation Committee after Karen Phillips urged lawmakers to take another look at House Bill 718, set to replace temporary paper license plates with metal ones in July.
I would encourage you to look at the issue as to whether or not we've actually gone forward and not backwards.
I asked if she wants to see the law repealed.
Do you want to see it taken away?
Never said that.
We left the door open if they want to have discussions. However, we made it clear 718 is the law.
Sergeant Jose Escribano with the Travis County Constable's Office attended the meeting with a delegation of law enforcement from around the state that pushed for the law and want to see it through, citing paper tags' ties to rampant fraud and crime. Escribano said the dealership industry raised concerns over not having enough metal plates on hand.
You have other managerial concerns, great. Bring them up to the DMV, bring them up, if you want to go to do that. But these tags have to go.
At the Capitol, Matt Grant, KXAN investigates.
Law enforcement said that this meeting went well, but noted concerns that the law could be amended or changed next year. You can catch up on our years-long coverage of paper tag fraud on our website, KXAN.com.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Texas is not the only ones back after a bye week. Our Texas Game Day analyst Alex Okafor is as well, here to help you get ready for the Longhorns' next game against Florida. All right, now, Alex, coming off this second bye week, final bye week of the season, Texas has 4 more games left. Quite simply, what do they have to do to get themselves in the best position to make the SEC title game in Atlanta?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, coming off of this bye week, I'm hoping this Texas team got healthy. And us getting healthy will increase our physicality some. On top of that, we got to get back to our identity. Coming into this season, Texas was known as having an experienced offensive line, a dominant unit up front. We haven't really played that way over the past couple of weeks, so I'm hoping this bye week allowed us to attack our deficiencies and really get back to our identity, and that's having a dominant unit up front, keeping a clean pocket for Quinn, and having explosive plays in the running game. Let's get back to that.
And it'll be nice to have a home game in front of the home crowd in order to, start this stretch here in the friendly confines of DKR Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. Thanks again for joining us, Alex. Really appreciate your expertise. Now, Alex won't be able to make it for the show this week. You will be missed dearly, though. But you can catch me, Dan Neal, Noah Gross, and others here for Texas Game Day as we get you set. Coming up Saturday at 10 o'clock for Texas and Florida. Catch us over on KBVO.
I'm looking forward to it. Texas Longhorn head coach Steve Sarkisian and UT Athletics director Chris Delconte have a message for fans ahead of this weekend's game against Florida. And it comes after some Longhorn fans threw trash onto the field during the Georgia game last month.
Stay in the game. Let the behavior of cheering loud, creating a great atmosphere, dictate who we are.
Their duo shared their message on social media yesterday after a penalty. You might remember this. It was a penalty called during the third quarter, and frustrated fans started throwing water bottles and other trash, and the refs ultimately changed the call, but then the SEC fined UT $250,000. Coming up, a Central Texas city hopes a renovated park brings smiles to local families. And hey, if you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks so much for joining us. We hope you will also join us on air for that. And all of our stories, by the way, can be found on KXAN.com.